Welcome everyone back to another great video. We got a fantastic question
Mhm.
here from Jack. A question we get quite often is, what is the best province to retire in?
Ooh.
Usually when someone asks that, what they really mean is, how do I pay the least amount of tax? This
That's right.
province has the least amount of tax.
Yep.
We will answer that, and we're going to do it first with a case study.
Yeah, and our case study is basically going to take our two people here. We got Gord's 57, Joan's 58. Now they're both still working and retired. Gord's going to retire at 65, so that's when they're going to retire theoretically. They need $75,000 after tax per year in today's dollars, okay, for retirement. Gourd is $350,000 in RSPs. He adds $500 a month. He has another $105,000 in TFSAs. That's $200 a month. Joan has $250K through her work pension plan. $300 is added, and one hat, same sort of scenario that she's got with her TFSA as with Gourd. Both get max OEE, OAS. Gourd has $1,000 a month that he's getting in CPP. Joan has $800. There's no debts. They're only looking at the retirement savings. And again, we're going to basically use these numbers that we played. Rates of returns about 5.3. And at retirement, we're going to reduce that to 4.25. And the big factor, right now they live in Manitoba.
Yeah, that's the factor we'll play with the Manitoba piece, because we'll see how it all changes depending on where they live. The Mauer calculator, Mauer.com, is available for free. You can go try it yourself if you like. That's what we use to do all these
Mhm.
calculations. Mauer is the one that set that 5.5% rate of return prior to retirement and 4.25 in retirement. Those are their rates. But regardless, you can see the outcome here. It's a nice, pretty chart. It increases up until retirement. Then you can see it slowly gets spent as they age
Yep.
throughout retirement. The case study here, Gord and Joan, again, starting with Manitoba. In Manitoba, they would project to need $1,365,093. That's what they would need in order to meet their retirement goals. They would have saved more than that just based on what they're putting in, and the growth rates are projected to be at 1.4 million. And then Gore's life expectancy, this calculator went to age 89. So that's the factor we look at, age 89. There'd still be money left over. Again,
Wow.
only looking at savings. So their house would be there, properties would still be there. We're saying just retirement savings, that pot, 271,000 would remain. And we will go through every province to show you how the taxes and everything changes. But Jack reached out with a great question. If they had a question,
You go to chatwithclintonandkevin.com, send the questions to us. We'd be happy to answer them and get back to you as soon as we can.
perfect. And I'll look at this beautiful table here, Kevin, with all the different provinces. We reran Gordon and Jones' scenario, only changing their province to
Yep.
see how that would impact how much they'd have to save and how much would be left over at the end of their scenarios.
Yeah, and if we take a look, you can see that the numbers vary a little bit. I mean, they're not dramatically out of sorts, but as you can tell, depending on where you live, you're going to have to require less money. And if we take a look at it in real terms, if you look at Nunavut, they actually have the least amount of savings required, and they also have the most left over for them at the end of the day. So that is a really great place to scenario and know what you got to go, but that may not be what it is. I mean, for them, of course, the case study says that, Gordon and Joan, they can income split, they can generate the desired income when they're staying in their lower tax brackets, things along those lines. And of course, we see that Nunavut's the lowest, but which is the highest?
Yeah, it's Quebec. And we should mention what's driving this particular case study is the desired income. They want 75,000 after tax. It's a couple, so they can income split, which means both of them are going to be in lower brackets. So really what we're looking at is the different rate on that low level of income. And in that particular case, Quebec would be the highest. Nunavut, as you mentioned, would be the lowest. New Brunswick, the median right there in the middle, gives you an idea of how they vary. If they had different income aspirations, they wanted a higher level of income, well, now the higher rates would impact them,
Yep.
and this ranking could shift. So it's really that low tax rate that drove their scenario. We go through financial planning like tips like this all the time in these videos. We also have a weekly newsletter. If folks want that, there is a description or there's a link in the description. Click on that if you'd like to see the newsletter. When it comes to where to live, it's more than just tax.
Yeah, and that's the biggest factor. As well mentioned in our financial plan, tax is never the main driver for what you should ever do. When you're retired, living in an area that gives you the best tax probably also is the same sort of benefit. I mean, there's other things that you have to consider when you're looking at it. I mean, your $75,000 a year, what's it going to buy you in Toronto or Vancouver compared to being in Nunavut? What is your access to healthcare in Nunavut compared to a larger city or somewhere else? Do you have the same leisure activities you're going to be dealing with? What's the climate going to be like? And I mean, the final factor would be friends and family.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. And for us, that's often what we see as the biggest driving force. Where do people retire to? It's proximity to friends and family. And then just to drive home that point, we assumed 75,000 after tax was regardless of where they live.
Yes.
But as you clearly mentioned, a dollar is going to stretch a little differently in Halifax compared to Kelowna, compared to Toronto.
Yes.
So cost of living, inflation, all of that is going to factor in as well. If you like this video, there's one on the screen right now about the top 15 places to retire abroad outside of Canada. Click that one. We'll see you again very soon.
Take care.